This unruly, overgrown container garden behind me was a temporary solution 18 years ago until I could build some raised beds. I'm Christy Wilhelmi from Gardenerd, and that day has finally come. With the help from the folks at Vego Gardens, we're going to transform this unruly, overgrown, waterlogged container garden into a thriving perennial planter bed. I hope you'll join me in this series of videos that I show you exactly how to do it from start to finish. To give you a sense of what we're working with here, there's a lot going on. We've got paper pots that have worn out on the bottom. We'll reuse that soil. We've got bigger ceramic pots that have suffered drowning accidents. For example, this pineapple that we grew it keeps flooding. The bottom has gotten clogged up and it just doesn't drain properly anymore. We've also got tree kale. This tree kale started in a paper pot that has worn itself out and definitely is overgrown and needs to be tended to. The post that we installed for this tree kale is going to be incorporated into the new design. We also have this crazy 1,000-head kale that, again, was started in a paper pot and now has overgrown and is taking up a lot of space. So the first thing we need to do is clear the deck. We're going to move all these pots out of the way and take down all of these overgrown plants and start from scratch. Of mint in their own pots, and they're going to stay in pots because mint is super invasive, so we'll set that up at the end. And we will take cuttings of these and replant them in the new bed. We've done a video on how to propagate tree kale from cuttings, so check that out. And now the demolition is complete and we've cleared irrigation and pots and soil and everything that was going crazy over here. Now it's time to move on to design and placing the planters where they ought to go. Watch out for the light there. Design-wise, we've placed these beds 24 inches apart. I can kneel down in between each bed, I can work in each bed, or I could sit on one and work in the other if I want to. We've also placed these beds a little bit more than 2 feet away from the existing raised bed over here, and there's a good 4 feet between this bed and the next bed over because that has a trellis on it, and we don't want to shadow this bed too much. Also, design-wise, we've decided to stagger these beds a little bit closer, each one, boom, 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 toward this pathway that runs from one building to another. That way, you'll be greeted by the garden beds as you pass them by. The other reason why we staggered these, we put this bed a little further forward because there's an apple tree back here that's only going to get bigger. We want to make sure we have enough clearance to get around the apple tree and this bed. The next step is to level these beds so they don't look like an eyesore from far away. I am not good at leveling, so I brought in my expert Mittens! She's not an expert at leveling, but this guy is. We're installing stakes along the outer edge of the bed so that we know where it's supposed to go and we won't move it. Lower over here. The next thing we're doing is repurposing this drip irrigation system that we created for the container garden to run to the beds. So this line is going to run into this bed, and this line is going to run into that bed. We'll use 2 elbow joints to get it to the soil surface, run it across the top, and then put new drip tubing in across once we've filled it with soil. I want to pause for a minute to tell you a little bit about these Vego Gardens. These are both the 10-in-1 option, and they're 17 inches high. This is the olive green color, and this is the new novel model, which is a little bit different than the original corrugated model. I like these because they resemble those more traditional, feeding troughs that people like to use, except that these are not coated in zinc. They're not galvanized the way that those horse troughs are, which means zinc can leach into your soil. So these are not galvanized, so they don't leach into your soil. They're non-toxic, and they're really sturdy materials. In the interest of full disclosure, here at Gardenerd, we are affiliate members of the Vego Garden family, and you can use our affiliate link below and get a discount using the code GardenNerd10OFF. All right, this seems like a good time to end this video for now. Tune in next week for a continuation of this container garden transformation to Vego Gardens, where we'll feature more on the irrigation system and transplanting perennials into these beds. Again, a reminder, if you want to see the entire setup of how to put a Vego garden together from start to finish, we've got another video listed down below. Go to gardenerd.com for all kinds of information about growing food in small spaces, including container gardens, and check out my online courses, my books, and all kinds of other stuff. Consider becoming a Patreon subscriber to support all the free stuff that we do here at Gardenerd. Patreon supporters get access to behind-the-scenes goodies like tours of Gardenerd headquarters and monthly hangouts with yours truly. Happy gardening!